So maybe we can start a little. I will say a few words until the people will join us. So our first panel for today is devoted to so difficult theme, which is very important for each participant of a process in performing art field. So we will talk about how can we monetize the digital content and whether it's possible or not, or how to promote art to find the ways to reach the goal, this goal. So in this panel, we will talk about the ways to develop and promote a performing arts product in a digital world and think about evaluation of the art in general. The moderator of the panel, Veronika Skliarova, she's producer, cultural manager in Kharkiv, Ukraine, program director of Theatre Urbanistic Festival Parade Fest, theatre critic, art journalist, and a lot of different interesting projects. So I give the floor to Veronika, and she will tell you who will participate in the panel, and maybe our participants can tell about themselves by themselves. So thank you, I'm leaving you.
Hello everyone, I'm Veronika. And I want to ask speakers turn off the microphones during someone else's speech. Turn off. And I will tell you more about structure of the presentation of this panel. It's really difficult topic. Enough tools, and we don't have enough time, with this pandemic, still to look back and to find and to extract the new ways of monetizing theater and digital space. And also it's very hard to tell which part of theater is a digital part, and we can talk about monetization now. I mean, we have performance on the streets when you need to scan QR codes, and we can monetize such performance, and also we can show video performances just on screen, and it's absolutely different types of performances and different types of monetizing content. So I suggest to participants of our panel, for Frédéric, Martin, and Sepehr, to tell more about their experience and their projects. And you will have 15 to 17 minutes to present your projects and your experience in this field. And I want to suggest participants to ask questions in chat for them, and I will say your questions, and you will have 1-2 questions about the experience of our speakers, and then we will discuss the topic itself about monetizing, how we can or how we can't, or what to do with this problem. So who wants to start? Martin, can you start?
Hello, you mean introduce myself? Yes, yes.
Yep.
Of course, I hope that the sound is fine. My name is Martin Zavadil, and I'm general manager of Dramox, and based in Central Europe mainly. And basically, we are in one sentence something like a Netflix for the theaters. So far for mainly for Central Europe, but in the following month I will speak about that. We will expand globally, and I understand Dramox as a basically I will speak about how platforms as a Dramox can help bring another revenue source or expand the amount of audience for the theater.
Will you share your presentation now, Martin?
You mean like a directly start? Yeah, okay. Yes, I will do that. Okay. Can you see the presentation? Can you see the presentation? I can't hear. Yeah, seems everything is fine. So, Dramox, in one sentence, is online theater streaming platform. From technical point of view, quite similar to Netflix. The goals and reasons why we are doing that is to support the theaters in areas we are not past, which online world and not the art creating. That's definitely their core skill, but monetizing and a way how to get to the bigger amount of the people. That's something where a lot of theaters, even the big one, are struggling. So we want to help with that. We have a very simple goal to maximize the time which people are spending with theaters and overcome the distance in language and etc. So that's the reason why we built Dramox to expand the time. Because if you compare it with other arts, it's quite normal that out of the pandemic, of course, people are spending 5 times per week with a film and visit the cinema once per month, once per quarter, depends. But theater basically missing still in most of the countries, missing the first part. That means that people are visiting cinema once per month, normal visitors. And what I can see from the numbers in Central Europe, mainly people are spending more time with the theater, with the Dramox, and even right now, luckily, with physically inside the theater than they did before if they are using Dramox. And that's like a very amazing information for me that normally they would see, users or spectators on the Dramox would normally use or see some performance 2-3 times per year. But with the Dramox, we did some research on a few hundred our customers, and they said, yeah, I already saw more, I spent more time with the theater than before the pandemic times. So this is what I can see this as a big opportunity for the theater generally. What we are doing, we basically provide the platform where theaters can stream their performance, which they are in repertoire or out of the repertoire. That's not important so much, and reach the international audience over Europe, of course, as I mentioned, Central Europe primarily right now. What does it mean for the theater? We are giving back to the theaters 55% of what people are paying. Directly, we are not giving anyone more, and in the same time, we are not giving anyone less than 55%. Doesn't matter if it's a very small theater or national theater. So far, we have a quite I would say something around 100 theaters in touch with more than 300, and very big variety of the theaters, from very small fringe style alternative theaters to national theater from Bratislava, for example. Right now we are discussing with a variety of theaters around the globe, from Chile to, I don't know, Ukraine or Armenia, France, everywhere. So this is why we are doing Dramox. How it's looking from a theater perspective. So whole Dramox is free for the theaters. I don't want to look this as a advertising for the Dramox. For me, this presentation is more like a what is one of the steps which theater can do, or theater company can do. So everything is free for theater. It means that we are providing the platform. We need to have from theaters the good quality performance record. That is, of course, big topic. What does it mean? Good quality. Normally, it's a multi-camera footage of the performance. I will not go into the details. And of course, there is a very crucial part for every theater, and theaters are not familiar with that, and that's the copyright. And that's the reason why basically quarter of our, or 25% of people in Dramox, we have roughly around 50 people, are from copyright department. So because this is crucial part, and we are helping to the theaters to solve that issue through agencies, collective management organization, illegal copies if necessary, etc. Basically legalize the whole stuff, whole footage for them, because very often theaters doesn't hold the copyright. Common, and it's very common around the globe. Doesn't matter if you are talking with a theater from Hong Kong or from Prague, same thing. And on the end, we are doing of course, marketing, and again, fully in our hands, costs, and in the same time, we are providing subtitles for go beyond the borders, expand the audience. Subtitles are necessary. Netflix is a good example. Basically, in every language, you have subtitles of local film, or for instance, local subtitles, to basically avoid the misunderstanding and not go to directly just for the people which are not speaking English, are speaking English. So this is everything which we are doing for the theaters. How looks the process? And so far we have something under 10,000 subscribers. As I mentioned, 130 theaters. Something around it's changing every day, but something around 200 performances, and we are live from October last year, and so far we transferred to the theater 300,000 euros. So you can imagine our revenue, because 55% is 300,000 euros plus something. And the goal of that is we are not expecting that the Dramox will be something which is holding all the theaters, I mean financially, but it's something which is helping the theaters from the financial perspective, and it's something where if the theaters will use their own platform or going directly on their audience, which they know, and plus they will have an audience, I don't know, in Poland or in Australia, that's like a plus. It's not cannibalizing anyhow their audience at all. It has an opposite effect. That's a big discussion always, and it's helping them to find out where are people which are interested in my work. So far, we realized that small theater from Budapest has quite a lot of viewers and quite a ranking with something, I don't know why, on small part of the Czech Republic. I don't know why it's resonating there, but it's resonating. So, and this is like a data which we are, of course, giving to the theaters. What are our plans? Because so far we established the numbers and stuff which I presented, and in the autumn we have other plans how to help the theaters. Me personally, I study theater studies, so We are not expecting to be billionaires because we are doing theaters, but this is something which should have the theaters in areas where they are not so skilled. So first, and this is something which will happen during the July and August. This is the expansion. Here are the flags where we already in cooperation with theater companies. India, South Africa, South America, Chile, and Argentina mainly. US, of course, Mexico, and Australia from those like more, foreign countries. But I would say right now most of the countries in Europe. That's a first step. And second step, where I believe that all the theaters should have this opportunity, all good performances should have this opportunity to go into the cinemas. Because if I will, and you probably know that, but National Theatre and Live, normally they have 2,000 people in an audience. I mean, during the premiere inside theater, but they have something like roughly 500,000 people in the cinemas around the globe. And even if we cut out 1-0, and we were able to help the theaters to reach 50,000 or 20,000 people in a specific cinemas. I don't know, theater from Kiev can reach cinemas with subtitles in French. Why not? There is no reason. Only thing which is basically problem for the theaters if they are standing alone. Right now we are in the quite heavy discussion with the distributors around Europe from the start, and all of them are saying the same thing. We cannot deal with one theater because it's super hard for us to present one theater, one performance per, I don't know, quarter. It's very hard. So we need someone who will do the middleman. And when I spoke with basically my job is to speak with hundreds of theaters every month. And through discussions, we realized that this is something where the theaters would need to have a hand. We need to give them a hand, help them there. Otherwise, this will end in a same situation as opera is. Basically, 10 opera houses around the globe, maybe less, are holding the access to the cinemas, and and they are holding access to the money, and and it's like a league of elite league. And my personal goal is to avoid this situation, that even the small theater group, but with a great performance, should be able to reach big amount of audience and give more to the people that, hey guys, we are here, we are making amazing performance, and this is something which and we have a story to tell you. So Dramox, in a very simple sentence, is here to support them with the money, like give them another revenue source, give them more information, more broader audience from different countries, even the local one, because for example Ukraine, you know that better than me, it's a huge country. So from one part to another part, people are not traveling because of theater. It's super pricey, time consuming. And even in a small countries as I don't know, Slovakia or Switzerland, this is not happening. People are not traveling so much to theaters into another city. So this is something which we want to help them. And all what we need is to have a good multi-camera performance records, and we will be, and if it's possible, we will do the rest for the theaters. And the goal is to maximize the time spent with the theaters. So Dramox is like a, how to say it, we are creating the environment for the theaters, because sadly, there is no so many theaters around the globe which are very good in distribution of their performances. So my goal, and by the way, we are not receiving any public money. This is all private base from collection of investors, which not expecting quite big revenues. And that's the reason why we give away 55% of revenue to the theaters back. But they basically believe that this should be not another group of elite theaters, which has happened already in film, which has already happened quite in opera, and I believe that the rest of the theater should deserve to have a different approach. Okay, I hope that I managed. I was very, very speedy, so I hope that I managed to fit into your time frame. And please ask me if I missed something. Please ask me. I will be more than happy to answer all of your questions.
Thank you. You was really precise with timing. I want to ask Frédéric and Sepehr if you have questions or comments, because I have questions.
Really impressed. This is amazing. Really, congratulations, Martin.
Thank you. I have a great time. I never worked so much as during the pandemic times, to be honest. But yeah, but basically these are so far we have 50 people in the company, and I hope that we will not have more. It's quite a challenge, but the reaction from around the world are quite good. Around the globe are, I would say, 5 similar projects, and I believe that we are already in cooperation with every of them. So even right now, for example, we are discussing the cooperation with a similar platform from Chile. So we are giving the European theaters the opportunity to reach audience in Chile or Argentina. So that's like another step. Yeah. So much open possibilities right now for the theaters.
Thanks for Ukrainian Institute that they provide this platform for us to share our experience. And my question, I have actually two of them. First one is very small. I don't know if you have answer now about the target audience. I mean, why target audience in Brazil can be interested in theater from Ukraine, because you have a lot of local content, context of jokes or everything. And I think like how you want to solve the problem of target audience.
Yeah. So the target audience is I will answer a little bit from bigger perspective. We have in a Dramox from, as I said, from really small alternative path, one performance from Fringe festival, one guy on the stage doing physical theater, very niche thing. And in the same time, national theaters, which can work for, I don't know, language area, for example, just because famous places. But this combination that you can find on one spot theater from different parts, and for me as a theater lover and crazy guy to spend half of the year in the theaters. For me, it's very interesting to find if exists something with a similar case on different part of the Europe. And people like me, there is a tons of them. And this is yeah. So target group is anyone who is visiting the theater, normal, or who likes theater. That's the target audience. It's quite broad. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's an interesting question to talk more about. But another my perception of the monetization of online content in theater is about tradition of paying for theater online, and now we don't have this tradition of giving money for theater online because we had a lot of free content in the first months of pandemic situation. So I think it's really crucial point. And for me, we can change the perspective with the selling theater for young audience, for children and for youth. Do you have plans maybe to adopt this platform for kids performances, or somehow to involve this audience to learn how to teach them how to pay for theater content?
You mean the theater for the child or for the student?
For kids.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. We have them too. We have a puppet, the puppet theater. We have a directly child for child performances, and yeah, and it's quite again, it's about spending the time, and you can spend your time with some animated film, some Frozen, probably, and or you can give the opportunity to your kids to see something different. So this is very good example. We have something which is called Dramox for schools, and we are providing in a very cheaply. Basically, just cover the copyright cost, and for the schools in Czech Republic. And we are planning to do same thing in Europe, but it takes more time, and it's horrible time-consuming discussion with the schools to do that. But yeah, luckily Netflix, HBO, Amazon already did the job for us, so people are used to pay for the online content, definitely more than had been 3 years ago, 5 years ago.
Thank you. We have one question from our viewers, from Ola, about the availability of the Dramox in Ukraine. Maybe you can answer her in chat, because you now present Dramox for Ukraine, so you can write her back. And you can switch to Frédéric, not to spend a lot of time for this part.
Yes, of course, I will. Thank you very much for your questions and for your time.
Thank you. Can you stop your presentation, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
Frédéric, can you introduce yourself and your works and experience for us?
Yes, with pleasure. I'm Frédéric, I'm from France. I'm working with a puppet group which is called Massue, working for contemporary puppeting. I'm also the leader of a creative project called Innovative European Puppetry, and the director of a festival just in front of me, in the back of the river, the famous Zavadil festival. So I used to play and then to work with traveling theaters for 10 years, more than 10 years. And now I'm producer and general manager for this puppet group, Massue. Try to go on the digital pandemic. We have this project, the digital as a fastener of exchange between artists, between the puppets. So we developed a database of puppets, and we upload some parts of puppets them with 3D printers and so on. So we've got workshop and some moderator is on project, and we've got performance. We tried to find a new way. So it was three years ago, a new way of producing by joining a game, a video game, and the performance, a live performance. At the beginning, this idea was to collect money by the game to produce the performance. At least we've been funded by Europe, so there's no reason to make the game that will be paid, because Europe says, okay, we pay for that, the audience don't have to pay for it now. But at the end, we'll of course turn it on the paying side. So the story is a little strange, but we've got this performance, and then you've got the game. The gamer at home can play in the same universe and in the same aesthetic than the performance we are presenting. And when he finally solves the enigma, it's a kind of escape game. So when he finally escaped, he goes into the theater, and he is on the set in the video. He was himself a puppet. So it's another to get in the performance. And so we use digital for that. As you about the monetization, it will be the next step. Now we're in the prototype, and we are just working on for free on this game. So this is one of the way we are working on. We are also member of IETM. I didn't say that. I'm the advisor committee of IETM, and IETM, which is an international network, is also on the digitalization and the live and online performances, and we've got a reflection on that. And we're working with a French Lebanon group, Makamat, and they develop a platform a little bit in the same height as Dramox. Maybe I can show you. It's called Sepehr Live. So I'll explain the presentation. Here. So yeah, it's in English. It is almost on dance. You can live performance. You can see the live. Some are for free. Some are some of them you got to. So this one is for free. It's a few hours. You can also hear what we call the réservoir. Sepehr means stage. So reservoir, you can have performances. And what is interesting in this platform is that you can, of course, have a memory, and you can also share live performances. I invite you to go to this link, Sepehr Live, and it's mainly focused on dance. You can have also some interviews, so it's really interesting because it's gathering a lot of different two parts. The free part, which is a kind of teaser of the main part, and they just this with a you've got to pay for 1 month or something. I don't know the way you use it Dramox for your customers, but it's 4 months they use that. There's also another experience, very interesting, but maybe Martin, you know them if you're working with Chile and Argentina. It's a Théâtre which is the TV of Santiago Amil. And what is interesting there is that they turned a part of the festival online. Last year, I was the only one in Santiago. Everybody was online. I was the only one live. So it was really fun to see the from this. But they took a large part of the international program online. And what is a little bit frightening in that is that I'm afraid now the Internet Exchange Festival will be online part of the festivals. And, we need to take care of that. I think it's all to meet in real life and to have real connection. So what is useful of the memory is to can reach some event when you not cross the borders. That we've got to take care to not the international exchange by digital exchanges. So this is one of the risks. So we can have a discussion on that, but for me, I feel on the subject. I'm sure. What is very fascinating in what you explained, Martin, is the ability to make fun and to fund theater by this way. I'm not sure that stand it to a large amount of theater and a large amount of streaming. I think you're in a special. You find the way, you find a good idea, but I'm not sure you can repeat it several times. Maybe I'm
not sure if I'm following. What is not possible to read?
I'm not sure that if every country got 2 or 3 channels as your channel, it will so because the audience is limited, and I'm not sure we can extend the audience as Netflix extended as the because we can see it in the real life the real life. We've got a top and it's very difficult above.
Yeah, can I react on that, Veronika?
Sure.
Yeah, small country, Czech Republic, 10 million people. From last info which I get, 1 million people visit the theater at least once per year. So 10%. It's a huge amount of people, and those people are interested in a very different theaters. Some of them you can catch with Hollywood actor, but and this is very crucial thing which is happening, that they are catched by the name, by theater which they know, but on the end, and I can see it directly in our data, that they are very quickly transferring in a very different theater. So, for example, very small theater from Olomouc, which is a small city from Czech Republic, get more attention than the national theater on our platform, because they did a great performance and people are reacting. So during the 2 months, it was #1. But to be honest, they would never get there without this opportunity to platform. And answer to your question directly, I believe that if we are talking just in the Czech Republic about 1 million people, all what I show there, like the data, 10,000 people, it's a fraction, like a really fraction of early adopters, of the people which are like in a very deep love with the theater. And when this will be established, and it takes some time, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, it's a marathon, sadly. There will be different approaches. There is a market which is really related to mainly to dance theater. Of course, they are trying to catch different theaters, but or Broadway AG, which has just the high theaters, the Broadway, the big names, Hollywood actors, and that's it. And they are ending there. Nothing else is there. And I don't believe that this is the competition for us. Even if we will be in a US, because what we are providing is very different. I think that for Dramox, the core is in the middle-sized theaters or very interesting French style local small theaters, physical. So and this is exactly the same which happened in the film industry, and I believe that we just need to give it time to this, and same will happen in a theater. And it doesn't matter if Dramox will be inside or not, this will happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just in Czech Republic, it works in the countries that have a very high level of audience in the theater. For example, I'm not sure it can work in France, because in France we are 70 million, but there's also 1 million in the theater. The same amount of audience, but it's the same rate, you know. So, and I'm not sure we can bring this. That's one of the aim of our game, you know. It's to try to bring people from the gaming universe to the real audience and to the performance. And what we see is, of course, we manage to interest them, and they can come, but not reach such a large audience. We cannot increase it because in the French culture, theater is going far and far and far and far away. We've got a larger theater, lots of group, lots of company. But for example, Avignon will start in 2 weeks. Avignon, most of the group in front of 10. You know, you've got 1 performance a day in more than 150 theaters, but there are 15 people in a lot of places. So what I'm wondering is, are we able to replace non-audience by a digital audience? I'm not sure of that. But strategy seems good, so I don't. But I'm just wondering of the way we can go on the real life. Sorry.
Yeah. Can I, Veronika, or we are out of the time?
You can shortly, because I want to
of course. That's the reason why we have something which is called Dramox for Schools. Because, and this is like a 10 years ago, okay? So really like made from a nothing so far. But we are providing to every teacher, which is in a cooperation with the Dramox, the whole materials, to even the practice list, and to avoid the situation that visit of the theater for a young person is the stuff which they need to be dressed properly, and it's where there is something boring, not related to his world. There's no way how people which are 50 can understand someone who is 50. I'm 32 and I cannot understand my related persons which are 15. No way. And so that's the reason why we are banding that for Dramox for Schools, to do this, to teach them that theater is not something which is in your country, in your city, in your street, but it's very different kind of, and we know it in this group very well, how colorful it can be. So I believe that answer is yes. It's possible.
Perfect, you've got the answer.
Thank you, Frédéric and Martin. Can I just try to focus our discussion a little bit, because I wanted also to ask Frédéric's from the perspective of making performances online or in digital space, because I refer to your experience with the Puppet Up, with this 3D catalog, which will help puppet theaters to travel. And I also want to link this question with your discussion with Martin, because I think to combine theater with Netflix is very nice idea. I mean, we can find the answer about this huge monetization question in such practices that we already used. And I think that your experience with this catalog can also be some kind like answer to this problem.
Yeah, but it's the same. The catalog is for us. Sorry, the catalog is for us a channel, way to a tool, and just for me, but my vision is now obsolete. But the living performance is living performance, and even if it's well shooted, if there's several cameras and just that you cannot take from the theater is in theater. I want at the very back stage to this detail that nobody will see, but then there's a camera. The camera did it for me. So this is not the same. It's a several. So what is there? Just a topic, story, and how we're telling the story. And the digital for me reduces to that. Even if it's well done, and it's a really tool to get some elements and to get a memory, to see some performance you never see, because you won't go to Santiago to see it, or you won't go to Kharkiv to see that, so you can see it online. Okay, for me, the living performance is live. And, what we are using in our performances and the experience you use. For example, this database we put for the puppeteers, we puppeteers to scan their own puppet. I've got some here somewhere, and we try them to scan the puppet, to put it, to update it in our database, and share together. But what is interesting is to have the artisanal act at the beginning, the craft, and at the end. You know, database is just a way faster than the post. And you can, okay, I just send you the file, you get the file, you print the file, but on this printed file, you will have to do an act. Of course, I tell it's for free because it's paid by Europe. And at one moment, maybe it will be, we can ask for money for that. But now, for me, than finality. That's what I mean. So I think it's a wonderful tool if you use it as a tool and if you don't replace what is super well. But what your project is the way you find produce and to help the producing of the theater. This is one of the most important part of your project. It's on this monetization in with a feedback to the living performances. So this is a great idea of your project. This a bit to your question.
Yes, thank you. And also you mentioned I also think that it's amazing to help to produce performances and to help to invite people in the theater, but not to replace it with the digital formats. So thank you, Sepehr.
Do you hear me well? Okay, good. Sorry, my internet connection today is very bad. I dropped out already meeting, so I hope I don't get removed from the meeting again because of the internet in the middle. So I keep it short. Hello to everybody. My name is Sepehr Sharifzadeh, and I'm the artistic director theater agency, a booking theater agency based in Iran. And personally, individually, I work as a curator and creative producer with different festivals in Iran and abroad. I have a question to begin my talk today from you. How many of you have had experience or have lived or worked during the USSR time, Ukraine or any of the post-Soviet countries which were under the embargoes of United States during the time that they were part of USSR? You can just simply not answer me or in the chat box, or just think about it just for 15 seconds.
I want to invite our participants to answer in private texts, and also not a lot of us lived during USSR. I mean, I was 4 when it collapsed, so I don't know if I have enough experience, but I will think about it.
So the point here, that's why I asked, because I guess many people are very young generation or the close generation who haven't had experience of living in the USSR during the embargoes that were imposed to USSR and the citizens by the United States, because I do live in such a situation right now in Iran. So when I got invited here, I was thinking to myself that what should I talk about? It's about money, it's about theater and the relation and the correlation between them and the money, which is always a contentious topic to talk about, specifically in an objective term, because I'm coming from a country that has 0 banking transaction with anywhere in the world because of the US embargoes and Iranian banking. So if I want to work with Martin, for example, on his platform, I have no way paid the money that Martin is going to pay the theater groups that I'm promoting through the agency. Because, I mean, we don't have an international account. Martin, you wanted to comment on it.
God bless Bitcoin. It's fine. We will find a way.
Oh, definitely we will. I'm already like working with different, proxies. I'm working with my brother who lives in Munich. I'm working with my colleagues in Canada, but this is tiring. That's why I was thinking that, okay, today I would talk about this topic subjectively rather than objectively from my own experiences, because I think it would be important for the people. We are living in different realities in the world. We are living in different countries with different things, so we cannot generalize the economy. We cannot generalize the relation between the money and the economy. So we did last year now I'm talking about my experiences with money and with online content, because I did quite a lot of projects during the past 17 months since the beginning of the pandemic. Beginning back in March 2020, I helped co-founding one of the very first online festivals for and it grew so big. Even for the first edition, the festival was Reconnect Online Theater Festival. Many of you might have heard about it. It went viral. We had almost 100 shows from all around the world. And the festival for the first edition, it was a pro bono festival. For the second edition, it is pro bono, although I'm not working directly with the festival anymore, but just as a friend advisor. But the first edition was like, we sent an email to the artists and we said, hey, through the open call, this is not right for you not to be paid for what you are producing, for what you are doing, but we don't have any means of supporting you from Iran. We can only hope to bring you pistachio whenever Corona gets fit, you could travel again, or Iranian rag, or Persian rag, or pistachio, or sweets, or whatever. But we are inviting you, and that was the moment that we noticed that we won. Actually, the humanity won, because many artists responded. We had artists from I don't know, Brazil, India, South Australia, more than 35 countries. We did the festival, although we were not with not paying the artists, we were not very happy with not being able to work out this thing. But anyway, it worked out well. The second edition worked out well as well. And also my friends in the festival, they got in contact with different organizations and festivals for the second edition in partnership to work on an online, what do they call it, online residency to bring artists in Iran, or artists online together, Iranian and foreigners, to make shows online, perform the show in the festival, and later on to perform it in other international festivals. Later than that, in October, I began something which Frédéric and Veronika, they're also member of it, and this is the first time it's happening. A network, a global network of agents and distributors of performing arts who are distributing, like me or Frédéric or Veronika, shows from other artists to different festivals in the world. For us to work more sustainable, to work more in solidarity instead of competing with each other, to find ideas and solutions for making more money, more sustainable money, to help building this sustainable world, both in economic terms and ecologic terms. So to make slow touring possible, to make collaboration between our agencies or our companies, and all of these. And later on, after it just finished last week, I will send you the link to our Facebook now. We did what I believe was the best event that could have happened for artists that I could contribute to within the team that I have here in NHD's agency, and it was an online showcase. We called it New Narratives, an online showcase of Iranian performing arts. This was to make connections, to make networking, to bring people, to bring Iranian artists who have not been on the table as the other artists in the world, to be on the same table with them, to be seen by the professionals in the world, to be seen by 85 professionals who registered to watch their performances, to watch their presentations and pitch about their ideas. And we managed to bring 100, which involved 50 shows, full shows that were asking for touring and who were like ready for touring, and 40 ideas who needed to pitch and who needed to ask the festivals to fund them, to co-produce with them, or to give them a residency. And the outcome was that all of them were happy, and it happened with the less money possible for registration because we needed to work. You know, it's like, it's very funny to talk about capitalism as an anti-capitalist, because the thing is, our world is running by money, our art is running by money, even if we say, yeah, the money corrupts art. That's not true, because anyway, if we want to produce something, if we want to create something, and that's the subjective talk about this, we need the money. Money is the fuel of it. It's not something that, of course, there are different paths. If you take the right or the left one, somewhere else. But the thing is that our world is fueling on money, and we would need that. So because of that, we say, okay, we're not going to curate this event, because also, first of all, we need the money. Second, we want every artist in Iran to have their show, to have this opportunity to be chosen or curated by curators from around the world in order to make some money for them. Because in many countries in the world during there were different programs. I'm not, let's say, mainly global North countries. There are philanthropic programs, there are funding programs by the government, grant programs, but in Iran, we don't have it. Even before Corona, we don't have this experience of philanthropy for festivals. Like we have this senior couple who lives in the city and they want to contribute to the festival, so they give like 10,000 euro to the festival. No, we don't have it. It might be in Australia, it's the case in France, in Germany, but not in Iran. And also, we don't have any governmental grant or fund for the artists, even during the pandemic era. We had some very, very, like, it's €5. That's the best, as big as €5 for artists who were member of the Iranian Theatre Forum. Not all of the artists, only those who made the effort a couple of years to become a member just for nothing and pay membership fee for nothing each year without any support. So this new narrative showcase, Iranian Showcase, was our way to contribute to help these artists to be seen. And I would say we were successful because our catalog included 370 pages, which only 200 pages of it was shows from Iran, to show the diversity of theater in Iran. And we were very proud of the catalog. So yeah, that's what I believe personally is that we need to find, because I'm also practicing. I was also one of those people who say, yeah, the money corrupts art. But 17 months, it was proven to me that we cannot live without money. I mean, however, I was working with all of the festivals, like very big festivals in the world, to bring Iranian shows to them before the. But then during the 17 months, I noticed that, I have shows, I have the full recording of all of these shows, and the festivals in Croatia, in South Africa, in Ukraine, in Australia, they want these shows, but there's no way that they pay me, and then I could pay the artist. So of course, yeah, I was young. I was a kid. I think Corona actually helped us in a way more. Like Martin, I'm almost as old as you. I'm 33 years old, and at some point I noticed this bitter reality that our world runs on money, and we need to respect that, and we need to respect ourselves as artists and find a compromise between working as an artist, not to lean towards entertainment, which is totally okay. I don't have anything against it, but also to respect the money that we are living in, to have a word. I wrote it somewhere here. To have a decent living. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. So yeah, and in the end, what I can suggest to people who are listening to us, to finalize my talk, is to suggest them the book that really helped me in finding this compromise and respect for money. It's a book that you can even find, it's free online. The book name, Why Are Artists Poor? It's by as an artist and economist. I'll just send you the link here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think Sepehr, you find great tool for the culture visible on the map. And I hope our partners from Ukrainian Institute will appreciate your tips and your tools, and also will try to maybe together to invent some kind of Ukrainian showcase. And I think it's the best link for our further discussion with these two questions that I prepared in the chat. Also for viewers, if you have answers or you can share your thoughts about these questions, you can write down in the chat. And if you have questions for our speakers, please also write them. And I want to continue with this topic about, yes, we need money, but now you talk to us about visibility, and you told us that you can earn money with this, not marketing, but with the actually cultural diplomacy tools. And I want to ask Frédéric, because you have, I think, the biggest experience in this field about traveling the world and presenting the work all over the world, and about counting success from this perspective. Or you can just answer the question that you can see in the web chat.
No, it's difficult to count the success. Because we've got, for example, one performance for one single audience. It's a 5 performance for one single audience. So there's no money for that. You cannot sell a 5-minute performance. Not enough to pay the actor anyway. Cannot, of course, say, oh, this is the amount of the audience, which is one. So it's really difficult. And for example, one of the performances we've been invited by Sepehr, we used to play it with 70 people around the set. This is we will come in Kharkiv with this performance. And we were in Théâtre with this performance, and Sepehr says lots of people. I said, but it's 70 people. Okay, let's go to 100 people. So we played 4 times, if I remember well. So first time we were around 100, and then on the second performance we were something like 150, and the last one it was near 300 around, and it works. But we were sure it would be terrible, and it's one of the most wonderful performances we made. But how can we say, also with 70 people, the problem is how can we pay for that? And so it's my problem when we are playing the performance are so stupid that I tell you we've got some with one audience, some other with 70. We have a very big audience. Just in Iran, we can play in front of 300 people. But I can't really say what is it's often there's a lot of people waiting for seeing your performance. You can say success. If you got a lot of money, you can say also it's a success. But I think it's in between, and it's something we need to try to find the money for that. As I tell you, we adapt also in each country, because when we are in Bulgaria, we cannot sell the performance the same price as when we're in Germany, because the reality of the theater are not is the same. And as also a logical of the tariff of the fee that the audience pay for performance. You're talking about the Czech Republic, and very often in Czech Republic, and I can see that the price is very, very low. So people can go and in the theater. In France, we've got a very high price of the place of the seat is really expensive. So in Avignon, you don't have a seat in the official festival. It's at 30 euros, 35 euros if you want to see something. So is it a success? And it's a full up. So it's not the problem of the price only. It's a very complex question. Is the low price make the audience come? I'm not sure. Is a streaming make the audience come? I don't know yet. So what can be the currency for that? I don't
know. When I tried to refocus the topic, I was thinking about the performance by Rimini Protocol in SoundCloud. This 8 movement, I think, and they gathered more than 1 million listenings on the Spotify, and it's nice money per month. It's compared to, for one performance, it's compared for money for one independent theater in Kharkiv, for instance, even more higher. So yes, Martin, I will give you the word. I just want to explain why I want to count success with the money or with the viewers. So we have different types of monetization, and also we have different types of showing audiences our art now. And I don't want you to answer me yes or no or something. I just want to think about the perspectives. What do we have now, and where we are going with these tools that we have already? Martin, sorry.
Sorry for this disturbance. I think the answer is yes, but in a like a different if I would just answer yes, that's dishonored to the art, I would say. So yes, because you have a freedom on the end to do the art in a shape which you think is right. I believe that this should be the right of all artists around the globe. So if the digitalization on the end will happen or will show to the theaters the opportunity that, okay, I can approach 1,000 people around the globe, and this is enough for me because every of them is giving me $10 every month, and in that moment, or $10 per month. In the time we are receiving as a theater group $10,000 per euros or whatever per month, and basically this can go, from my perspective, this can go in two ways. One way is something which we are building as a Dramox, is something which is like a long term. So we every quarter sending money to theater is not a significant, but it's small, which is helping the theaters to pay again something. Another possibility is to go in, and this is like a reach broader audience. Another angle is US has a Patreon. Maybe you know that. There's a platform where people can follow you. You're providing some value in whatever you are doing, and they are paying you monthly fee. And this creation economy is, for me, it's a whole revolution. Basically, it doesn't matter how your theater is looks. Can be you can be specialized on crazy, specialized on a theater with a box. So you are moving box somewhere very small in a box, and that's it. But if you are able to find 1,000 people around the globe, billions of people, and you find 1,000 people or 100 people which are paying you small amount of money, for most of them insignificant, from one perspective, you're a rich guy or a rich lady. And same, and this is basically, I'm giving you the information what will happen probably in the future with Dramox too. We already have some part that people can support the theater. If they like the performance, they can send them some small amount of money. But on the end, I would be super excited if we manage to put the people on one spot, and Frédéric would love Iranian theater, which is represented by Sepehr, and he will pay because he will get the direct, I don't know, direct streaming every month, and he will get a package from Tehran every month with something yummy. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Just because I've got Iranian money.
Oh, okay, super. And he will pay 10 euros monthly, which is good enough, like a fair amount. And and small theater represented by Sepehr would have enough money to be whole and to be absolutely independent and create the art which they believe that should exist. And so first step is something as a Dramox, monetization, find the audience from broad selection. But on the end, I hope that we will end in this situation. That doesn't matter, of course, if you are National Theatre, you would need more than 1,000 people, or they would need to pay a lot of money. But this is the example which doesn't matter what you are doing and on how looks the performance. If you find out quite small amount of people, you are the winner and you are spending your life with something which you believe in. So yes, success can be counted with the money, but the money means freedom of what you are doing. So that would be my answer.
Thank you.
We said that the money gives freedom. I'm not sure, but it depends on where it comes.
Yeah, of course, of course, we are turning it into the philosophical discussion. But yeah, you are right. Of course,
No, it's not a difficult discussion because it is. But my, you know, I'm really attached to the public funding, and you can cross public funding and the private funding. It's not a problem, the money, but it depends what you're doing with it. And Sepehr called about entertainment. Entertainment for me is a way to the idea. For me, public theater is the mission of the theater is to educate, and it's not to say to cultivate, to you know, it's based on that. And the entertainment is a way. I said the digital is a way keep the contact with the audience, to pandemic, keep the contact with the audience far away, but it's just a tool, and that is a tool too. And what is the risk of the monetization by the digital? If you don't have an ethic in the platform, it seems to be what we said, and the only way that you return a part of the money to the live performances means that you've got to if you, but have some platform without this ethic, and there's a risk to be to have some deviation, you know. So returns and so this can lose his goal. The first curve is just a little, but if you go for a long time, a little curve very far away from your first point. So this is something that I totally agree to use these new technologies and old technologies to spread the culture, to spread the theater, the living performances, but to make some fences, you know, to prevent to go out of the road. But so the philosophical part of the speech.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, agree. Yes. I don't have any other answer than yes. Of course.
Let's build defenses.
That's always risk.
Yes. I want to remind that you still have, to our viewers, that you still have opportunity to ask questions, and I will give them voice in our chat. And maybe Sepehr wants to tell us something about the topic.
Yeah, yeah. It's as I said, it's always a contentious topic. But as for the question, if we can actually measure the success of an art piece based on money, I would say it's very much dependent. I neither say yes it does, nor would I, because the fact is that it's very much dependent. It's very, even if we are a festival, it's very much dependent on the criteria of our festival, the way that we are curating our festival. If we are a theater company, it's very based on the criteria that we are thinking and the audiences that we would like to approach. If somebody would like to do entertainment, that's totally okay. Of course, the success for their art piece would be measured by the money that they would make. They're doing a musical, their audiences are the first layer of the society with money in their pocket to be able to pay $250 for a ticket. But if someone with an artistic project, which is like only like, I don't know, 10 actors and actresses walking in a performance promenade in a building, or like in the streets, which would definitely, they won't make that much money, but they would tour definitely much more than the other person who's doing entertainment, a musical, big musical. So it's very much depends on the criteria of our life and our festival and the company. But the fact is that for festivals, so even like if it depends also in a festival. If our festival is a first wave festival, is a commercial festival, or if it's like a second wave festival, artist-led festival, like if Manchester Festival in the UK or BTEF in Belgrade, they all have their differences. And the fact that even in the second wave festival, we would need to bring big shots. At some point, we cannot go that much experimental on bringing the shows with emerging artists. We would need big shots to bring the audience in, to bring the money in, part of the money, because when we are paying XYZ artist 10k euro for one performance, then we would need to pay almost the same amount to, I don't know, 2-3 ABC artists who are emerging artists from different countries. The balance in our festival programming. I'm not talking again about the commercial festivals. I'm talking about the second wave festival, which are also known as the artist-led festivals. So, yeah, I would say this answer is dependent on our criteria.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning the festival problems, because we mostly now talked about the individual productions, and festival was like not in this field, but as a director and curator of the festival, I have this very painful experience with the freedom as money, when big funds can give money and you very much depend, and then they decide to make censorship or something that you mustn't show on the performances, and it's quite cruel from their side, but from my side it's also a huge problem, especially in countries as Ukraine with the such type economy that we have now. We don't have questions now in chat.
If I may just add something, Veronika.
Sure, yes.
A personal measurement for the success of an art piece for me, it's all like, just to cheer you up a bit, is if the show is managed to make the audience cry. Because if you check our website, most shows that we are promoting are very human based, because I do love these, artists have their own language, and most of the shows that we are promoting are in a way personal shows, documentaries that are making the audience cry. It's who's returning home after 40 years of immigration because of the war, or a child who's talking about the constantly moving from one house to the other house. So usually when I tour with my show, I stand by the door after the shows and check how many people, this is crying. Oh, she's killing herself out of crying. Oh, he's crying so much. Okay, 5th cry, 6th cry, oh, perfect. And then I say, okay, guy, everybody was crying or tearing themselves up. So, voila, that's it. For me personally, it's not about money, it's about crying.
Now I think it's magic of art, because I wanted to tell my experience about success that was last week, and it was actually about crying, because we had a presentation of our British-Ukrainian project. It's called Fear and Action. We try to investigate fear and how fear involves on our actions, and we investigated it with the interviews of refugees, people in Crimea that now Crimean Tatarian, and about Muslims, about LGBTQ people. And we just present the project. It was short presentation with the scenario, with reading and some stuff, and with explaining how we work on the scenario. And we had 80% of people crying in the audience in the end, and I wanted to share this success with you. So great, amazing. I think it's, yes, one shot, one hit. And I have very practical question to Martin, Frédéric, and Sepehr about how you find the prize for the performances, how you form this prize with the different countries, Martin, for instance, and Frédéric, when you're touring, how you find the solutions with the festival producers on finding this this prize for tickets. Martin, can you start, please?
Yeah. Pricing for us is quite not easy, but always the same. We get the 500,000 pool, 400,000 out 500 people, pool of 500 people, and we are doing classical research as every company, and we are trying to find the best balance between amount of the people, which means amount of the money transferred to the artist, and where is the border where it's too much for the people. And we tried to find the same the balance in Europe, because right now Dramox costs 12 euros, which is more than Netflix, more than most of the services. But this is like border. This is something where, from mathematical perspective, researcher perspective, this is the border for us, and we have a one price, so it's very easy. For French guy, it's 12 euros for the ticket. That's a small price in a party. For person in Armenia, that's like my God, that's a lot of money. But so first we will go one price globally, and after that we will see two process which I mentioned. Country by country, or region by region, like language region by region. But one price is easy, and of course limiting in one part, and suspiciously cheap for other parts of the world. So find the balance. But we are everywhere, so different approaches than, of course, festival, which do think prices for concrete performance, concrete cost, concrete people.
Thank you. I will ask you then in web chat, because I think in countries with the transition economy that we have, like for instance in Ukraine, it's very much depend on area. For instance, in Kharkiv, tickets are like we are selling them with lower price than in Kiev, but in smaller cities and towns, like less price, because people are not used to go to theater, and we need to count on these issues somehow. But I think it's very like huge topic to discuss. Frédéric, can you say something about your like price?
Yeah, on our side it's different because we are not selling ticket by ourselves, not selling the performance, but it's linked, of course, because in the different country, if you say, I tell you, we've got some audience limit. So first of all, it's a bit mathematical. How does it cost me to pay my salaries, to pay the cost linked to the performance? So this is my base. I can on this amount, because otherwise I will lose money. And then I've got some different level, which is how to refund the production, and then how to make some benefits. So there's some moving part and the negotiation. So there's three moving parts and the base. And I used to work on like this and to adapt to the reality of the country, and even the country of the theater I'm going on. You know, because even in you've got a large difference between the big national theater that cannot afford a very expensive performance. So this is really, I try to adapt, I negotiate, I'm discussing with the people in every country. So what is the price of the ticket in a country? Okay, so what will be your income for the performance? What is the part you are able to lose if you are public funded, or you cannot lose no money because you're on your own economy? So really, there's no rule. The base says, okay, I cannot lose money. Sometimes I lose money because I find some money funding. I find my side, for example, French Institute campus, Pedidam campus, we've got lots of way to find some money to complete if the partner cannot pay. So every time it's yeah, French.
Thank you. For me, it was very interesting because I used to form the price for like Kharkiv audience, and it's not dependent on theater that we brought as a tool, theater. So thank you, Sepehr. Is it great crying?
For me, it's more or less almost the same as Fred explained. It's the mathematics that we are based on. I can tell you the factors that we are. Is it right? Do you use the word factors? Like the elements that actually come involved in the price. So we take in consideration usually between 1 to 3 because we give the festivals the different options that if they want to book the show for 1 show, for 2, or for 3, and then for each of the shows we keep doing these, we keep counting these elements such as for the actors, the fee for the actors and the crew, the per diem and the royalties for the writer, the percentage for the agency, which is us here, the visa fees, because usually we involve it in the artistic fees so that the festival doesn't need to pay something extra for the visas. The insurance fee and also the transportation between the and the airport, because here in Iran it's very expensive. And then based on and then a percentage as an artistic fee for the director, which you are doing it based on a director himself or herself. And then they would double up or triple for 2 shows, 3 shows, and then we also keep reducing a percentage for the festivals. When the more shows they would like to book, the more this give to the festival. So we wouldn't give, if a show for 1 performance is $500, for example, we wouldn't charge the festival for $1,000 for the second show. It would be like something like, if I'm not mistaken, it would be something like 650 euros. So the festival would pay less than usual. So yeah, that's also, we do have this table in Excel that usually we just put the numbers and then the outcome will be the price that we give the festival.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for this discussion. I think it was really fruitful. We jumped from the aims of arts to digitalization and to monetization, and I think we cover all the questions that I wanted you to speak on. Thank you for your presentations, and please, I want to ask our audience also to have give us some feedbacks, because for me it was extremely interesting. And I hope to see you on the network events, because it's really interesting parts of such conferences to have networks and to speak to each other. And it's really important also for us to know more people abroad and make to them. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And yeah, I put my contact list, and I can see that Seth too. Yeah, if you will have any question or you're too shy, for example, because of English, please feel free to ask. Even in Ukrainian, Russian, whatever language, I will fight with that somehow. That's fine.